very excited, although I don't know who's going to be filming when I do this, to introduce Edward McCann. Edward McCann is a former television writer and a contributing editor for Country Living magazine. His features and essays have been published in national magazines and literary journals. Welcome, Ed.
Thank you. You don't have to do that. This is a little thing from a longer thing that I'm working on. I began my junior year of college at the State University of New York at New Paltz, a historic and picturesque town roughly 2 hours north of the city, sharing a dormitory suite with 3 other undergrads and 1 biology grad student who brought home black and white photos of rat livers he'd taken using an electron microscope. We lived in Crispell Hall, bunking 2 to a room with a shared bathroom and a common living area. The transition from Brooklyn was a smooth one, as my roommates and I became acquainted that semester, getting stoned together in the evenings after class, listening to music in the common area, and playing endless rounds of backgammon. Our suite became the coolest spot in the dorm to hang out, and for a time things were unusually civilized, but the chemistry changed as students from other parts of the building migrated to our place each evening. I disliked the spontaneous drunken parties that erupted in our living room and found other places to spend my free time. One memorable evening during midterms, the entire men's lacrosse team crashed at our place, and no one would admit to or clean up the vomit I discovered the next morning. The final straw came during finals week, when I was caught in the crossfire between 2 freshmen armed with super soakers. I got blasted and totally saturated with water, along with my typewriter and the final paper I had nearly finished. I'd had enough. 3 buddies and I scraped together enough money for a security deposit and rented a furnished 2-bedroom garden apartment close to campus. We left behind the parties, payphones, and prepaid food plans, and together, the 4 of us navigated the headwaters of real life, complete with landlords, groceries, and shared phone bills. The honeymoon didn't last long. Tom enjoyed walking into the woods behind our complex to shoot his dinner, returning home with a few squirrels slung over his shoulder. "They're good eating," he said, "but you city boys don't have much stomach for squirrel." I never saw Tom skin, cook, or eat these trophies, but he cured their fresh hides by draping them over the wrought iron railing of our terrace, a grisly sight through the sliding glass doors. Tom shared a bedroom with Eden, a kid from Long Island who smoked a large water bomb and listened exclusively to the Doors, 15 years after Jim Morrison's death. Howie, my roommate, was from northern Queens, and he and I shared the second, smaller bedroom. Howie's total lack of independent living skills was a constant source of amusement for the rest of us. He struggled with a can of tuna fish until one of us took it from his hands and opened it for him. We set the oven controls for him to heat his TV dinners, and at the self-service island, we pumped gasoline into his tank. My roommates and I posted a cleaning rotation the week we moved in, but it was promptly abandoned. I resisted picking up the wet towels and other debris my roommates left scattered around our apartment, and allowed our shared space to sink to its natural level of stasis. The bathroom at the mobile station in town was pristine compared to and our kitchen trash can was always filled to overflowing. Each new addition to the trash had to be carefully, precariously piled on top of the pile. Garbage was often banked artfully and strategically up the wall, and the person whose pizza box or beer bottle caused the avalanche would have to haul away the whole disgusting mess. That ripening trash, combined with the stale bong water spilled on the rug, combined to create a distinct and memorable aroma. Late one Friday night, I returned from town after sharing a few pitchers of beer with friends, and I saw that a light was on in the kitchen. It was the refrigerator. The door wouldn't close because a glacier was growing out of the tiny freezer compartment. I had no more money for food that month, and I couldn't afford to lose the groceries on my shelf. So although it was 2 in the morning, and I was drunk, I set about the task of defrosting the refrigerator. Transferring the contents of the freezer to the picnic cooler that usually held extra beer, I pulled out a box of frozen hamburger patties, a bottle of Stolichnaya, and a couple of mysterious cartons of freezer-burned leftovers. Then I saw a loaf of bread, or something, in a plastic bread bag. When I reached for it, I discovered it was lumpy and pink. On closer examination, I saw tiny claws poking through the plastic. And for a horrifying second, I thought it was a cat. Holding Tom's bag of frozen skinned squirrels, I had an epiphany. It was time to move. And it is my distinct pleasure to introduce Julie Evans, third daughter, as you all know, of Jack and Betty Evans of Rochester, Minnesota. Julie is a teacher at Empire State College, a deacon for the Living Word Chapel, a body worker, a counselor, and a voice actress, and a poet, an inspirational writer, and speaker.